Hello, everyone. This is Ancestral Energy, Dovydas Lukšas, holistic health coach. And today we have a guest, Etelka Szeghalmi, happiness and life coach, as well as a five-element system practitioner. Etushka, hello.
Hi.
Could you briefly introduce yourself before we go into the questions?
Yeah, sure, why not? So, hello everyone. I'm Etelka Szeghalmi. I'm from Hungary. And as Dovydas was mentioning, I am a happiness and fulfillment mentor. I am working with a lot of things, including martial arts, meditation, Qigong, five elements, also four pillars destiny analysis, and a few other more complex, mainly Chinese systems. Also, I'm teaching martial arts, and my main goal or my main priority is about human potential. So I highly believe in human potential and realizing human potential.
That's brilliant. Would you also say you're kind of doing a high performance coaching then as well?
In traditional sense, no, because it's not about performance, it's about fulfillment. And for me, these two things are very separate. Our modern society very much encourages you to perform, but that doesn't necessarily will make you happy. There is, let's say,
Mm.
1/5 of the people who it will make happy. But what about the others?
Yeah, that's a very good observation. I think straight to the point. People who are in the burnout situations and they work so much, but then they don't enjoy their life. So that's beautiful to hear. So for people who might be hearing this for first time, we are going to approach 2024 energies in regards to five element system, which is a system from Taoism about the five elements. So wood, fire, earth, metal, and water. And so each of those elements carry specific energies and aspects to themselves. And they also affect our health, our emotions, our organs, and they also affect the environment in a way by itself, and as well as relationships and how we interact. So there's an everybody has their own element, and that also influences the character. And also, this year's dragon as well has an element and character. It's a wood dragon. So, Atushka, could you tell us about the green wood dragon as an archetype and symbol for 2024? What is it about? What is it bringing for us?
Yeah, that's a deep question. But before going into that, maybe it worth a try to put all these things into context. Because of course we are starting a new year, which is great. We just started the lunar new year, just started in the 10th. But there are a lot of other things going on at the same time, which might have a bigger impact on everyone's life. These things are not as easy to grasp, but if you take into account a few concepts like cycles, that everything is working in cycles, then it gets easier and easier. The difficult part is not about considering one cycle. The difficult part is that we are in several cycles at the same time. That you need to be aware of different areas of your life, different things, different connections, different instances happening, all walks of life. And why this is a very, very special time of not only the year, but a lot of cycles, is because some of them have just ended and some are about to start or already started. And just really briefly, I would like to give a short introduction into these cycles and what their impacts are, if you are okay with that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Go for it.
Okay, so in Chinese systems, mainly because of the five elements and the 12 animals, there is a 60 cycle, a 60 year, 60 days, 60 months, and so on. This is one part. And of course, we are accustomed to some of the cycles. For example, throughout the day, you go through all the 5 elements, or even it might be more easy to understand a year where you go through spring, summer, and so on, following all the elements. And this has an impact on what is good, what is auspicious in certain periods of time. Let's start with the bigger or biggest cycle we have changing around this time of nowadays, let's say. It is the 20-year cycle. This is coming from Feng Shui. And all of the cycles are not just ending and then a new cycle starts. The energy is decreasing, the old one, and the new one is increasing. And how this is progressing, there will be a certain point when the new energy is stronger than the old, so to speak. And usually that's what we call the 20-year start, or that's what we call a year start, and so on. Now there is a big change ongoing, and all of us feel this change. It started mainly around 2020, which is very familiar for everyone, I think.
Yeah. There was an orchestra playing very, very high note. Yeah.
Indeed.
Uh-huh.
Because big cycle requires big changes, obviously. Changes on a global, on a world level. It requires rethinking or re-establishing basic things like security, like how you think about yourself, what you value in life, and so on. And this change can be also understood through the 5 elements. The previous era, the previous 20 years, was guarded by earth element, which is stable, slowly moving. It has certain security built in it because of changing very slowly but steadily. Of course, there was change. We cannot say that nothing changed in the last 20 years. But the new era is more fire related, which is compared to Earth very quickly changing, very unstable because it belongs to the flexible element, which shows us that how the world was working in the last 20 years will gradually and more rapidly change. Of course, this means that our environment, what we try to live in as individuals, is changing drastically. And the cycles are, let's say, speeding up or fastening up, very quickening, let's say. We cannot achieve stability anymore by trying to fix things, trying to keep things as they are, which was working pretty fine in the Earth era because that was in alignment with Earth. But fire is different. But this is not to have like this doomsday effect that everything will be changing and everyone will die out of this. It's just we need to be aware that this is a new era which requires us to adapt more quickly. And whatever you have as an individual with change, because everyone has a relationship with change, this has to be overwritten or at least to be revised. That how you are handling change. Are you okay with things changing? Everyone has, let's say, a glass ceiling that I'm okay with change, but until this point. Gradually, this will reach this point, so you need to have a backup plan on change. So I think this is one area which is very important and requires to revise on a life level. So why you are here, what you intend to do, think, or how you intend to feel in the next 20 years. It's a big question. It's not easy to answer like, oh, I'm sitting down. Okay, this is what I want in the next 20 years. So it requires you to dig deeper into your true self to find these things that if you are living that life, you really want, you really find fulfillment in.
Yeah, and do you have specifically to this cycle? How is there any tips to better connect to the roots or essence for people in regards to the current energies from the environment, or does that not have any influence about connecting to your higher self?
Um, Taking into account, taking an inventory of your basic things, for example, your values, that could be a good direction, because your life should reflect your values, and it will be more and more true in this new era that your life should be what is meaningful for you, what is your true passion, and live a life which is according to that passion. And I'm not talking about, worldly things. I talking about that deep motivation or inspiration which everyone has inside. This little flame. Let's find this candle, which can make a big flame, because with a candle you can light a lot of things. But you need to find your own candle first, your true passion, your true desires, not that those ones which are coming and going. I think that one is the first. I would say it's important because it belongs to fire, obviously.
Yeah,
The
and also, do you would you say that the fire cycle itself, in a way, feeds that inner fire, so it helps with the facilitates the discovery of your truth, your core?
It facilitates, yes, but of course it has to be your decision. It won't force you to live according to your true self or true desires. It will give you the opportunity to step up and do it. Of course, either way, there will be consequences. Even if you choose to live a life what is not according to that, or choose a life which is according to your innermost true desires.
All right, and now, so you mentioned the fire cycle, which brought many radical and hot changes on the horizon, and now, so the years have passed. We are still in the fire cycle, and it's probably also gonna get more intense. But if we connect now that to the Greenwood Dragon specifically this year, for the listeners to know that, well, the wood itself is another element compared to earth and fire, and dragon, although a dragon is quite a dynamic creature, it can also fly, it likes to be near water, and it's also like an earth element animal. How do these energies, what's the relationship between Greenwood Dragon and the fire cycle which we are in right now, and what does it bring to us in a more physical life sense?
So, if you consider the dragon within the 12 animals, you could see that dragon is what brings you the transition from wood to fire, actually. So it helps you with this bigger transition. The year itself will bring you to those points in your life which needs to be transitioned, which needs to be changed. And in some cases, this could be, of course, an easy change, and in other cases, it can be a bit more, let's say, painful, depending on how much you resist the change itself. And
Mm.
this point is very important to be very much aware of your resistances against changes, because the change will come, and it will come more and more quickly. Something which was in the, let's say, old times, you change something and then you could fix the changes. But that's not true anymore. because the fire is never the same two times. When you're looking at the fire, you see into the fire, and it's ever changing. So wherever there is a resistance, at least be aware of that. And then you can, if you have methods, you can also go into that resistance and understand what it is truly about. Because it's hardly ever about what's on the surface. It's usually a more deep reason for why we are resisting a specific change in our life.
Yeah, by the way, that's a very beautiful analogy about fire not being the same every time. As a person who loves to look into fire, sometimes meditate on that. I can 100% agree. And yeah.
And also, if we consider the dragon itself, the dragon is a symbol of transformation, because in the Chinese culture, dragon can change its form to different things. So it gives you the opportunity to change your things into different things, to consciously change, because change can happen to you or you can initialize change. And that are two different mindsets, because change is inevitable. And sometimes we can accept that and even be proactive about changes, and we are doing the changes. And sometimes we are just postponing and trying not to look at the things we should, and we know usually that we should. We feel inside that this is not right for us, but we don't find the courage, we don't find the resources, the wisdom, or the power to do that.
So
But
now,
yep.
just to add up, there's a really beautiful quote, like where there is resistance, there is the biggest lesson. So, would you say, first of all, would you agree on that? And do you say that actually dragon is unique in the way that it really puts that into surface, compared to, let's say, other animals or other energies that could be present?
I am a big fan of going into the root of our resistance, let's put it that way. Because in the resistance, I see opportunity to grow. Because whatever you resist persists in your life. So if you are against something, it's you are fighting against something, because that's what resistance is. You just make it stick into your life. And it's very interesting to see how the human mind works. You want to get rid of something and then you fight it, and the result is that it sticks more into your life. So I think resistance, or the feeling of the resistance, is always an opportunity to check and integrate some things in yourself. But the dragon is not a patient animal. The dragon is a young animal, meaning it is active and requires activity. It brings you courage, but requires you to be brave and step up, step into that possibility. Also, it brings you power and wisdom, and generally, dragons are the bringers of prosperity and good luck and wealth and all these kind of things. But at the same time, they were the symbols of the emperor. They were the sons of dragons. So it is connected to authority and taking responsibility for your life. And of course, there are some places in our life where we can take this responsibility and it's easy. And there are some places where this is harder and harder. But the dragon will challenge you to take full responsibility for your life. Also, because it brings you power, obstacle is not something the dragon is interested in. So if it sees an obstacle, then it sees another opportunity to overcome and become successful. It's just another way to achieve success. So the good aspect, if you consider dragon, and if you consider any year, of course, is going into the energy, what it brings, because it's easier to align if you take upon all those features, all those skills, all the things, abilities it brings you. And sometimes, depending on personal dynamics and way of life and even habits, because sometimes not doing things is just a habit, you can be more passive toward your life. But this is not the year to be passive. This is not the year to wait for things to happen. This is the year to go out and make it happen.
That is beautiful. I do like, I resonate so much with the words. At the same time, imagining a dragon in my head. Uh, I think it just, from that perspective, everything seems to fit. If anybody is into more like five element system, dragon is a yang earth carrier. So that these are also the qualities which Etelka expressed to us. So that is powerful, and it seems this year is going to be all about facing the truth and taking action, not over contemplating about things, but kind of figuring things out in the process as you are going towards your goals. That seems to be the topic, yeah.
Yes. And also there was, as a martial artist, I watch a lot of good martial arts movies, and there was one called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Some time ago, you might remember it. And actually, I think most of the viewers were not aware that this is an analogy. It's a terminology, this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, like a Chinese idiom. And it means people with special hidden talents, reminding people to never underestimate anybody. And I think, in a way, this is also in the dragon energy, to find your hidden talents, to find whatever was not on the surface so far, and go into the world and show it.
That is very beautiful. Tushka, thanks for sharing. And to add on the end note of this, if anybody would be interested in brief introductions of the five elements each, you can find that in my channel. If anybody would be interested in Telka's work, or perhaps coaching, happiness and fulfillment coaching, or deeper analysis into their own personal five element and Bazi charts, she can provide you with that. I'm gonna put some links into the into the description section, and you can access the resources and get in touch. And finally, well, I'm very thankful, Etushka, for connecting, for sharing your thoughts and wisdom with us. I hope it inspires the viewers to harness, to bring out that dragon energy. And I feel we might have some other talks in some time soon. So thank you very much.
Well, you are welcome, and thank you.